Okay, this is number one in a series of 10 videos, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I got involved with HighLevel, how we set up our company as a Canadian white label agency, a marketing agency, and some of the challenges we faced with collecting HST, billing HST, and the workarounds for that. So in getting started about a year ago in May of 2025 is when I got started. I went through the onboarding process of signing up with HighLevel as a white label agency. In going through the onboarding process, the onboarding team really isn't aware that there's an HST issue. I remember as we were setting up my products, my services, my offerings, that the agents that were helping me do that, we were stuck on the HST. It really didn't seem to be accounting properly, but I was so excited by what I saw in HighLevel. I just was chomping at the bit to get going, and we thought, you know what, this will all just sort of work itself out in the end. Well, a year later, I should have given a little more thought to what the options were available to me at the time. Now, let me explain a few things. First of all, what is SaaS? SaaS is called software as a service. The beautiful part about SaaS is that you can put a link on your website, a Pay Now button, and when somebody clicks on that button, they automatically get an account, a sub-account created for you inside of your agency, inside of HighLevel. The automatic billing takes place so that you really don't have to worry about anything. You set up your products inside of HighLevel, and then you set those same products up inside of Stripe for billing purposes. Stripe sends the monthly subscription out to your customers. Everything is captured by credit card. You get your money deposited into your bank account. You think life is great. The issue that we've now discovered is that with your products, even though you have the same product and people are clicking on the same subscription button, sometimes HST doesn't show up at all. Sometimes HST shows up as a line item. Sometimes HST shows up as a line item and then gets taxed again as HST. So there have been some inconsistencies. And in the last 3 months, myself, my accounting team, we've been going back and forth with the folks at Acodi, with QuickBooks, with Stripe and HighLevel. What HighLevel has identified, this is a known issue. There are no immediate plans to solve the issue. So as an agency owner, I needed to find a way to correct the problem and to move forward. So what we decided to do is to remove SaaS products from our HighLevel offerings. So what does that mean? That means that we're going to take off the subscription button on our website so that clients aren't automatically signing up for the software. I can, as an agency owner, create a sub-account inside of my system. And when I do that, I can then add in a payment method. So when I say add in a payment method, there's two things that are going to happen. First of all, Stripe, which is my payment processing system, I've set the products up inside of Stripe. I've set up a 30-day free trial inside of Stripe, the same as I had set up inside of HighLevel. The only difference now is that your credit card, your client's credit card, is being safely stored inside of Stripe. And when they get their first invoice, they're going to be asked to go to a payment page. They're going to set up their credit card there, and that is where their subscription is going to live. Now, what I've noticed is that when I do that, if a payment happens to fail, let's say somebody's credit card, they put in the wrong number, or the credit card is maxed out, or the expiry date goes. Inside of HighLevel, you get notifications when it's a SaaS product. So that's really handy. It lets the client know they're locked out of their account until, they can correct their billing situation. Inside of Stripe, you don't have that luxury. You have to sort of pay attention to Stripe every month. And last month I had one of my clients' payments failed. They tried 3 times, and simply what had happened is when we switched from SaaS to Stripe, the person who entered in the credit card information, I think they entered in one number wrong. So the billing wasn't going through, but I had to go and pay attention. I had to go and look at my Stripe account to make sure that all the billing was going through. And if I saw something had failed, I had to ask myself, why did that fail? And then I had to go into that invoice and I had to reshare that invoice back to the client and say, hey, I think somebody entered in the wrong credit card information. Can you please re-enter your credit card information? There was a link that got sent with that email as I sent it back to them. It really was a simple process, and I never touched the credit card. But in doing that, the only manual part of it is I have to sort of pay attention to Stripe every month just to make sure all the transactions are going through. And if something doesn't go through, I have to go back and nudge my client and say, hey, there was an issue. And it tells you right on the Stripe payment, the credit card information was wrong. So that was the issue. Send it back. My client took care of it. Happy days. The happy days part of it is, yes, that was a little bit of work, but I know that every time that bill goes out from now into the future, on a monthly basis, the HST is being accounted for correctly. That is a little bit of pain that I'm willing to give up to stay on top of my numbers every day, which I should be doing anyway as a business owner, and making sure that the HST is collected properly. So that's the first part of HST and your sub accounts and billing. That's for your monthly subscription for the services that you're charging to your client. Now there's something else called a wallet charge. And inside of that wallet charge, the wallet charges are the pay-as-you-go services that your client is going to incur. These services originate in the United States. So things like the AI tools, the voice AI, the chat AI, there is a pay-per-use for that product. Their email, if they're going to switch over to our Mailgun email server, there's a pay-per-use for using that email service. The challenge is that if you're not marking those services up, this is a straight pass-through charge, meaning that HighLevel bills you as an agency onto your credit card for those services, and then Stripe then bills the clients for those services as well. The difference is your profit. Now, when I say the difference, you have an opportunity to mark up those services. I don't do that. I charge a fair monthly fee for my marketing services and access to the tools that HighLevel offers, but I don't mark those services up. That is actually an opportunity for my clients to save money, and they really appreciate that. So at the end of the day, what happens is my credit card still gets billed as an agency for all of my sub-accounts pay-per-use charges, and then Stripe goes and bills them and reimburses me. But there's a problem with that. And the problem is, A, they're not collecting HST on any of those wallet charges. They're simply, whether you've selected $10, $25, $50, or $100, they're simply charging your client's credit card in US dollars from the exchange rate of the credit card company that they're using. And then on a different day, say the next day, Stripe then goes ahead and charges. So they're charging me on my card for those services, and then Stripe the next day charges my client on the credit card that they're using on a different day, which means that there's different exchange rates being applied, and there's different daily exchange rates, and HST is never being collected. So this is one of the problems that I think as a Canadian agency, you have to think of this as a pass-through charge. And the pass-through charge simply means that you're not making any margin on it. As a matter of fact, you're losing money on it, because not only do you probably lose on the exchange rate, so that $10 US becomes like a $14 charge, but then Stripe takes their fees off of that as well for every payment that they make. And that's usually around $3. So, at the end of the day, on every one of these wallet charges, I lose money by the tune to, $3 to $5, just depending on how much the payment was in their wallet, whether it was 10, 25, 50, or 100. So what I would suggest to you to do is when you're creating your monthly service, your subscription service through Stripe, think about, you want to have maybe a monthly $10 to $15 to maybe $20 buffer that's built into your subscription fee that's going to cover or offset those miscellaneous transaction fees that are going to happen because of wallet charges. We really haven't figured out the wallet charge thing yet. I haven't been audited yet, but I'm anticipating that's going to happen again. And when I do get audited, I will make a post or another video about we got audited, about the pass-through charges, and this is what we learned from that experience, and hopefully you'll be able to learn from that as well. So I'm not giving you kind of accounting advice or legal advice here. I'm just simply saying this is the problem that we found setting up a SaaS product inside of HighLevel. We went through a year of issues with that. The solution, the workaround, is to set up our product, disable SaaS, set up our product inside of Stripe, and then all the wallet charges, those are deemed as pass-through charges from a US-based business to a Canadian customer. At the end of the day, hopefully you've built in a few bucks to offset the Stripe fee, the exchange fees, and if you do get challenged by an auditor, hopefully you have built in a couple of bucks there to maintain or to offset any kind of HST situation that you might be liable for through collections that never really occurred through those wallet pass-through charges. So yeah, that's a weird one. We'll keep on top of that. Hopefully you found this little bit of information insightful. When you go to set up your agency with your onboarding agent, just make sure that you say, I don't want to set this up as SaaS. I'm going to build directly through Stripe, and then build your products with them inside of Stripe. Do not turn on the SaaS. And just tell that to the onboarding agent, and then they will tell you how you can manually set up all of your sub accounts inside of your agency manually, not using SaaS, and you should be able to be moving forward quite simply. Now, I've decided I'm going to create a bit of a Canadian group. All of the agencies that come in through these videos, if you're Canadian and you want to be a part of our community, and we're going to work through this together as a group of companies, you can sign up for HighLevel. I've got a link in the description below. Inside of that, you'll get a 30-day free trial to the software. You'll become one of my sub accounts. And we're basically setting up a support group for Canadian agencies so that we can all kind of learn from each other and learn how to deal with these sort of cross-border issues from a tax and accounting standpoint. So sharing best practices inside the group. So hopefully that was helpful. Check out video number 2. In video number 2, we're going to be talking about dealing with support and a whole bunch of tidbits I can share there from a year's worth of experience dealing with support from a growing software company. Thanks, and have a great day, and we'll see you soon. What do you think, Ralph? Was that a good one? Or was it super boring? I don't know. I think it was a good video. What do you think? You don't look impressed.